In this video, we are going to tackle problems that are sort of like the opposite in nature of the problems in the first video. So in this case, we're given the probability, or we're given the percentage or the proportion of women that satisfy a certain condition, and we're asked to go back and find the height. Okay, so here's an example of what I'm talking about. The probability is 0.30 that the height of a randomly selected Dutch woman is below what height? Okay, so the first thing I always do with these questions is I try to draw a picture. So here's the distribution of my heights. We know that the heights are normally distributed, and the mean is 67 inches, and the standard deviation is 2.5 inches. So I have 67 inches for my mean, and we would like to know the probability is 0.30 that the height of a randomly selected woman is below what height. We are interested in this area. 30% of the women are below this unknown height. So in order to answer these questions, what we basically have to do is we have to find the z-score that corresponds to this probability. And the way that we're going to find the z-score is we're going to try to find this area, or this probability, in the normal table, and then we will find the corresponding z-score. So here I am back at the normal table, and since the area is 30%, I know that the z-score is going to be negative. So what I'm going to do is areas are always in here, okay, in my normal table. So I'm going to look for the number here that is closest to 0.3. Okay, so the number I think I see that's closest to 0.30 is right here. It's 15 ten-thousandths away, but that's still closer than this guy, which is 19 ten-thousandths away, and this guy is 50 ten-thousandths away. So now this area is the closest I can find, so this is going to be, I'm going to be approximating. And the corresponding z-score is negative 0.5. And let's go up here to find the hundredths place, and it's 0.2 or 0.02. So this is the z-score that corresponds to it, that it has an area of 0.3015 to the left. So the z-score was negative 0.52, the closest one. Okay, so now how do I find the height, x? Well, I'm going to use the z-score formula. It's been solved for x, and if I solve for x, I get mu plus z times sigma. Okay, but this is basically just the z-score formula solved for x. In this case, we have mu. We know it's 67 inches. We know the z-score of the guy that we're interested in. It's negative 0.52. And we also know the number of standard deviations is 2.5 inches. And so this guy is equal to, so this is 65.7 inches. And if I round this to the nearest inch, this is about 66 inches, okay? So this is saying that the probability is 0.30 that the height of a randomly selected Dutch woman is below about 5 feet 6 inches. So here is a similar question. It asks us, 90% of Dutch women are taller than what height? So let's draw a little picture first. So here's my bell curve. So 90% are taller than what height? What would that look like? So maybe this is about 90% of the areas over here. So the question is, what is this height? We know it's definitely shorter than 67 inches, right? So remember, the trick is we need to look for the z-score that corresponds to an area of 90.90 to the right, or equivalently, you could say the area to the left is 0.10. You can use either to solve the problem. Okay, so let's take a look at the table and see if we can locate the z-score that has an area of 0.10 to the left, because then we know the area to the right will be 0.90. So in the negative z-score half of the table, all of these areas are going to be less than 0.50. So this is where I need to be. And the area that is closest to 0.10 is this guy. So this is an area to the left. So my z-score is negative 1.28. Now, once I have that z-score, I can use my formula to find the height. And this calculation gives me 63.8 inches, and if I round that, I get 64 inches. So this tells me that about 90% of Dutch women are taller than 64 inches. So let's take a look at the last question, part C. Find Q3, which is the third quartile. So remember, the third quartile separates the bottom 75% of the values from the top 25% of the largest values. So this is also known as the 75th percentile. So it's greater than 75% of the heights. So let's just draw a picture so we can remember. So here are my heights. And we are looking for the 75th percentile, or Q3. So the area to the left is 0.75. We know the area to the right must be 0.25, but we don't really need that. So we're interested in what is this height. And as always, when given the probability or the area, and asked for the height, what we need to do is we need to find the z-score that corresponds to this area. So here I am back at the normal table, and I'm going to look for 0.75, or the closest area that's in this table. So let me find it. Okay, so these values here look pretty close. This is 17 10,000ths away. This one is only 14 10,000ths away. So I'm going to stick with this one. And it's telling me the z-score is 0.67. So my z-score is positive 0.67. Now, in order to find this guy, I'm going to use the formula again. And this gives me 68.675 inches. And I'm going to round this to the nearest inch. So that's 69 inches. Okay, so Q3, or the third quartile, is 69 inches, or 5 feet 9 inches. In other words, if you are 69 inches tall in the Netherlands, you are taller than 75% of the women.